Dan Hooker responds to Paddy Pimblett trash talk. In the days leading up to UFC 324, lightweight contender Dan Hooker has fired back at Paddy Pimblett's provocative comments, defending his own trash talk strategy and refusing to soften his approach despite the personal nature of the exchanges. The feud between Hooker and Pimblett has escalated beyond typical fight build-up rhetoric, with Hooker pushing back against Pimblett's attempts to get under his skin and vowing to match or exceed the intensity of Pimblett's verbal attacks. The rising personal animosity underscores the stakes for both fighters as they prepare for their respective roles on the UFC 324 card. Dana White on McGregor vs. Masvidal rumors. UFC President Dana White dismissed speculation about a Conor McGregor vs. Jorge Masvidal matchup at the forthcoming UFC White House event, calling such rumors goofy shit and underscoring that he does not track internet chatter. White clarified that no official talks are underway for that fight and confirmed that matchmaking for the White House card will commence following UFC 324, with plans to solidify the top 3 bouts soon. Dricus du Plessis on UFC 319 fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus du Plessis described his UFC 319 middleweight title bout with Khamzat Chimaev as uneventful, and even admitted to feeling bored during the fight, reflecting frustration with the slow, strategic pace Chimaev employed to control him across 5 rounds. The bout ended with Chimaev winning the middleweight championship by unanimous decision, halting du Plessis' 11-fight win streak and leaving the South African champion intent on coming back more complete after identifying areas for improvement in his performance. Islam Makhachev on Jack Della Maddalena's wrestling. UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev expressed surprise at Jack Della Maddalena's lack of wrestling during their recent encounter, noting that he expected a more robust grappling challenge from the welterweight title holder. Makhachev's reaction highlights the unpredictability of stylistic matchups in MMA and suggests that even elite fighters can be caught off guard by how a bout unfolds in the octagon. Jorge Masvidal reacts to Max Holloway BMF laughingstock comments. Veteran fighter Jorge Masvidal has publicly addressed remarks attributed to Max Holloway that labeled the UFC's BMF belt a laughingstock prior to Holloway winning it, pushing back on Holloway's characterization and defending the title's credibility. Masvidal, the inaugural BMF champion, responded with respect for Holloway as a competitor while maintaining pride in what the belt represented and dismissing suggestions that its value was diminished. His comments add another dimension to the ongoing dialogue around the legacy and significance of the BMF title as Holloway prepares for future high-profile fights. Justin Gaethje names 2 fights he wants back. Ahead of his interim lightweight title bout with Paddy Pimblett at UFC 324, veteran Justin Gaethje revealed 2 past fights he would like to rematch because he felt compromised in those outings. Gaethje cited a motorcycle accident that affected his performance against Charles Oliveira and a suboptimal mindset in his BMF title loss to Max Holloway, expressing a desire to prove himself under better circumstances. At 37, Gaethje frames these potential rematches as opportunities to cement his legacy and correct past outcomes before he eventually retires. Max Holloway goes off at Ariel Helwani. UFC standout Max Holloway lashed out at MMA journalist Ariel Helwani for attempting to stir controversy between Holloway and Jorge Masvidal, pushing back against Helwani's framing of their past interactions and emphasizing that outside commentary should not dictate how fighters view each other. Holloway's frustration stemmed from what he saw as an attempt to manufacture conflict where there was mutual professional respect, signaling that Holloway prefers to focus on competition rather than media-driven narratives. UFC 326 Max Holloway vs. Charles Oliveira breakdown. In previewing UFC 326, analysts and pundits are weighing how Max Holloway can defeat Charles Oliveira in their rematch for the UFC's BMF title, with some suggesting that Holloway could pursue an unorthodox route to victory by seeking a submission against the historically decorated grappler. The matchup brings additional intrigue given their contrasting styles and histories, with Holloway aiming to assert dominance and Oliveira looking to leverage his elite ground game, making this clash one of the most compelling main events of the early 2026 UFC schedule. Dana White on rescheduling Harrison vs. Nunes. Dana White confirmed that the highly anticipated women's bout between Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes will be postponed until later this year, rather than replaced on the UFC 324 card, following Harrison's withdrawal due to neck surgery. White stressed the significance of the matchup, which has been widely promoted as one of the biggest fights in women's MMA, and affirmed UFC intentions to rebook it once Harrison is medically cleared. Paddy Pimblett on Michael Chandler ahead of UFC 324. In the lead-up to UFC 324, Paddy Pimblett has voiced strong criticisms of fellow lightweight Michael Chandler, labeling him a dirty fighter, citing past incidents like eye pokes and questionable strikes. Pimblett's comments reflect ongoing tensions within the division as he prepares to headline the event against Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight title, with opinions within the MMA community divided on the character and conduct of the fighters involved.